Japan is a country with an economy that depends heavily on the sea. With more than 6,800 large and small islands, Japan has a vast sea area and is rich in marine resources. Fishing has existed for centuries in this country and plays an important role in providing food, creating jobs and promoting economic development. Fisheries in Japan are not limited to fishing, but also include many different activities such as aquaculture, processing and exporting fish products. Millions of Japanese people depend on fishing for their livelihood, from fishermen to those working in the seafood processing industry. Fisheries in Japan originated in the Jomon period, 14,300 BC, when people began using simple tools such as hooks and nets to catch fish. Over thousands of years, fishing techniques have evolved from simple manual methods to modern and advanced technologies. During the Edo period, 1603 to 1868, fishing began to develop more strongly when large ships were built to serve offshore fishing. This development contributed to the creation of a strong marine fishing industry, which served as the basis for the development of seaports and coastal towns where fishermen and merchants could trade and exchange goods. Fisheries are not only an important part of the Japanese economy, but also closely linked to the culture and life of the people. Exception. The Japanese government encouraged and supported the modernization of the fishing industry, including the construction of large fishing fleets, using steam engines and later diesel engines, replacing the traditional rowboats and sails. In the early 20th century, Japan began to apply advanced technologies to fishing. Fishing vessels were equipped with modern machinery, which improved efficiency and reduced risks during work. The emergence of large trawls, navigation equipment and radar revolutionized fishing in Japan. In the post-World War II period, Japan rebuilt its country and economy, and the fishing industry quickly recovered and developed strongly. Large fishing vessels were built, capable of operating in deep and offshore waters. Japan became one of the countries with the largest fishing fleets in the world, with the ability to catch and supply seafood to domestic and international markets. World War II caused heavy losses to Japan's fishing industry. Many fishing vessels were destroyed, and fishing activities were interrupted due to the war. However, after the war, Japan focused on rebuilding and modernizing the industry. The Japanese government implemented many support policies, including funding for the construction of new fishing vessels and the development of port infrastructure. At the same time, Japan also signed many international agreements on maritime zones and fishing rights, ensuring that Japanese fishermen have access to important fishing grounds around the world. Japan's fishing industry is not limited to its own waters but also extends to international waters. Far offshore fishing requires Japan to comply with international agreements on fishing and the protection of marine resources. These agreements include the division of fishing rights in international waters, the protection of endangered species, and the prevention of illegal fishing. Japan also participates in international organizations such as the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO, and the Commission International Fisheries to ensure that its fishing operations comply with global standards of sustainability and environmental protection. Japan uses a variety of large vessels in its fishing operations, from trawlers to tuna fishing vessels. These vessels typically range in size from several hundred to several thousand tons, equipped with powerful engines and modern equipment. Tuna fishing vessels are one of the most common types of large vessels in Japan. These vessels are typically 50 to 100 meters in length, equipped with powerful diesel engines and capable of operating in harsh weather conditions. They are specially designed to catch large fish such as bluefin tuna, yellowfin tuna and swordfish. These vessels often operate in offshore waters, even in distant oceans such as the Pacific and Indian Oceans. A trawler is another type of fishing vessel commonly used in Japan, especially for smaller fish and other seafood such as shrimp, crab, and squid. These vessels drag large nets behind their sterns to collect the fish. Trawlers can vary in size, from small vessels that operate close to shore to larger vessels that can trawl in deep seas. Trawlers are often equipped with advanced electronic systems such as sonar and radar to detect schools of fish and optimize fishing operations. A combination trawler is a large vessel that uses a purse seine to encircle and collect schools of fish. They are often used to catch schooling fish such as herring, sardines, and mackerel. Combination trawlers can be up to 100 meters long and are capable of catching thousands of tons of fish in a single trip. These vessels usually operate in groups, with auxiliary vessels assisting in the collection and preservation of fish. Large Japanese fishing vessels are equipped with advanced technologies and equipment to support the process of catching and preserving seafood. These technologies not only help improve efficiency but also help protect the safety of fishermen. Sonar is used to detect fish underwater by emitting sound waves and receiving reflected signals from objects on the seabed or from schools of fish. Radar, on the other hand, is used to detect other vessels, avoid collisions, and determine surrounding terrain, especially when operating in conditions of limited visibility. To ensure that fish and seafood are kept fresh from the time of catching until they are brought to shore, large fishing vessels are equipped with modern freezing and preservation systems. These systems can refrigerate fish immediately after they are caught, keeping the temperature at the ideal level to prevent spoilage and preserve the nutritional value of the seafood. Many large fishing vessels use automated trawlers and onboard fish handling systems to reduce the labor of fishermen and increase fishing efficiency. These devices can automatically collect nets, separate fish from nets, and bring fish to storage areas quickly and safely. Fishing procedures on large vessels are often carefully planned and implemented in specific steps to ensure maximum efficiency. Before departure, fishing vessels must be thoroughly inspected to ensure that all equipment is in good working order. Food, fuel, and other necessary supplies must also be fully prepared. The captain will determine the route and fishing areas based on information about weather, ocean currents, and fish school movements. Once in the determined area, the vessel will begin deploying nets or other fishing gear. Depending on the type of fish and the fishing technique, this process can take anywhere from a few hours to several days. Fishermen work tirelessly to collect nets, sort fish, and preserve seafood on board. Once fish are caught, they are processed on board to ensure quality. This includes cleaning, freezing, and storing in refrigerated holds. Some larger vessels also have automated processing systems that can process fish into products such as fillets, freezing, or canning on board. Next trip. Fish and seafood will be brought to processing plants or transported to fish markets for consumption. Sonar is a technology that uses sound waves to detect fish underwater. As the ship moves through areas where there are fish, sound waves will be emitted from the ship and reflected when they hit fish or objects underwater. Sonar helps fishermen determine the exact location of the fish school, their depth, and even the size of the fish school, thereby helping to make effective fishing decisions. Some large fishing vessels are also equipped with preliminary processing systems, allowing fishermen to clean and cut fish into fillets right on the boat. This not only saves time but also increases the value of the product when it is brought to the market. Refrigerated compartments on ships are designed to store large quantities of fish and seafood for long periods of time. Each hold is strictly temperature controlled, and the cargo is scientifically arranged for easy retrieval when needed. Fishermen often have to work continuously from early morning to late at night, without days off while at sea. The work of pulling in nets, sorting fish, and processing fish requires a lot of strength and concentration. They have to wake up very early and often only get a short rest during the day before returning to work. Working at sea means facing unpredictable weather. From scorching heat to storms. These conditions not only make the work more difficult, but also put fishermen in danger if proper safety measures are not taken. On board, fishermen usually eat simple meals, prepared by the onboard chef. Food is stored for the entire trip, so the rations are not rich and are often repeated. Rest periods are also limited, with short naps in small, noisy cabins. Fishermen face a high risk of work-related accidents, including injuries from onboard equipment, accidents while pulling in nets, or even falling overboard. Harsh and stressful work. Conditions also contribute to the risk of accidents. The sea is full of unpredictable risks, including storms, tsunamis, and extreme weather events. Large fishing vessels often face the risk of damage or sinking if they encounter a major storm at sea. Working continuously in harsh environments, away from family for long periods of time, can cause many health and mental problems for fishermen. Back pain, joint problems, and psychological disorders such as stress and anxiety are not uncommon. The health and safety of fishermen is a major concern, especially when they work in dangerous conditions and far from medical facilities. The Japanese government and related organizations have implemented many programs to improve the health and safety of fishermen. Large fishing vessels are usually equipped with basic medical equipment, and fishermen are also trained in first aid and emergency response. Before embarking on each trip, fishermen are usually required to undergo health checks to ensure they are healthy enough to work at sea. These checks include blood tests, blood pressure measurements, and general health checks. Recognizing the psychological pressures faced by fishermen, some NGOs and authorities have provided psychological support services, including counseling and remote support. This helps fishermen overcome mental difficulties. During their time at sea, fishermen in Japan are covered by social insurance policies, including health insurance and unemployment insurance. These policies help protect fishermen and their families in the event of accidents or other risks. The Japanese government also provides financial support to fishermen and fishing businesses, especially during difficult times such as natural disasters or market fluctuations. Soft loans and subsidies are also provided to help fishermen upgrade equipment and improve working conditions. In order to enhance the capacity and skills of fishermen, many training and retraining programs have been implemented. Fishermen can learn new fishing techniques, boat management and other necessary skills to improve work performance. The life of fishermen affects not only themselves but also their families and the communities in which they live. Working on large fishing vessels often requires fishermen to be away from their families for long periods of time, sometimes up to several months. This creates challenges in maintaining family relationships and taking care of children. Many fishermen have to miss important events in their family life, which has a significant impact on family affection. In fishing villages and fishing communities, solidarity and mutual support are very important. Fishing communities often organize social activities, traditional festivals and meetings to strengthen their affection and support each other in work and life. Many fishing families face difficulties in providing a good education for their children due to economic conditions and the absence of a father or mother who is a fisherman. However, with support from the government and non-profit organizations, many families have been able to overcome these difficulties and ensure that their children have a brighter future. Japan's large-scale fishing not only has positive economic impacts, but also has negative impacts on the marine ecosystem. One of the most serious consequences of large-scale fishing is the rapid depletion of fish resources. Overfishing has reduced the number of important fish species, affecting the food chain and the balance of the marine ecosystem. The use of large trawls can injure non-target species, including small fish, sea turtles, corals, and even marine mammals. The decline of these species can lead to ecological imbalance and affect the survival of other species in the food chain. In addition, fishing activities also contribute to changes in the marine environment due to the discharge of waste from fishing vessels, such as old nets, waste oil, and other chemicals. This not only affects the aquatic environment but also threatens the survival of marine species. Overfishing is a serious problem that Japan and many other countries are facing. This is a phenomenon when the number of fish caught exceeds their ability to reproduce, leading to a decline in fish numbers and possibly causing the extinction of some species. One of the main causes of overfishing is the increased demand for seafood, not only in Japan but around the world. This has prompted fishermen to increase fishing to meet market demand. In addition, the lack of strict regulations and controls also increases overfishing. Overfishing can lead to the collapse of the fishing industry, losing the main source of income for millions of people and pushing many fish species to the brink of extinction. It also causes negative impacts on the marine environment and reduces the ability to provide food for humans in the future. To deal with environmental and sustainability issues, Japan has implemented many measures to protect marine resources and ensure the long-term development of the fishing industry. The Japanese government has implemented regulations on fishing quotas for each fish species, to limit overfishing and ensure that fish resources can be regenerated. These quotas are adjusted regularly. Japan is also investing in the development of more sustainable fishing technologies, such as nets that do not harm non-target species and monitoring devices to monitor fishing vessel activities. These technologies not only reduce environmental impacts but also improve economic efficiency for fishermen. Education and awareness raising about marine environmental protection is also one of the important strategies that Japan is implementing. Through educational programs, fishing communities and consumers are encouraged to participate in the protection of marine resources and support sustainable valuable seafood products. Japan also actively participates in international organizations and agreements on the protection of marine resources to ensure that environmental protection measures are implemented on a global scale. This cooperation involves sharing information, experience, and technology among countries to jointly address marine environmental challenges. The large vessel fishing industry in Japan is an important sector, not only economically but also culturally and socially. However, the industry also faces many major challenges, including environmental issues, the health and safety of fishermen, and the sustainability of marine resources. To ensure the sustainable development of the fishing industry, Japan needs to continue investing in technology, education, and environmental protection policies. At the same time, close cooperation between countries and international organizations is needed to protect marine resources, ensuring that future generations can continue to benefit from these valuable resources. Climate change is causing significant changes in marine ecosystems, directly affecting the fishing industry in Japan. Changes in sea temperature, sea level rise, and changes in ocean currents can all alter the distribution and abundance of fish species. Warming ocean temperatures can cause fish to migrate to cooler waters, farther from shore, or to different depths. This not only reduces fish stocks in traditional fishing areas, but also makes it difficult for fishermen to locate new fishing areas. Rising sea levels can change the habitat of many fish and seafood species, especially in coastal areas. Saltwater intrusion and changes in the water environment can affect the reproduction and growth of fish species, reducing seafood resources. Changes in ocean currents can affect the migration of fish and other marine species. This could change fishing patterns, forcing fishermen to adapt their techniques and equipment to the new conditions. Ocean acidification reduces the ability of marine organisms with calcium shells to form and maintain their shells, affecting their survival. This could cause a serious decline in seafood species that Japanese fishermen rely on, such as scallops, lobsters, and other crustaceans. The decline of shellfish species could also affect the fish that feed on them, disrupting the food chain and causing a decline in the population of target fish species. This could lead to a reduction in catches and impact the economics of the fishing industry. Japanese fishermen are seeking and exploiting new fishing areas to compensate for the decline in traditional areas. This requires investment in technology, knowledge, and equipment to operate effectively under the new condition. The development and application of new techniques and technologies can help fishermen adapt to changes caused by climate change. For example, the use of marine environmental monitoring technology and forecasting systems can help fishermen identify potential fishing areas. The Japanese government is implementing policies and regulations to mitigate the impacts of climate change and protect marine resources. These policies include promoting scientific research, providing financial support for fishermen during